Hi, everybody. We're in the new location with Master Octave. It's beautiful outside. It's May 8, 2018. Thanks so much for participating in today's webinar. It's beautiful. We wanted to make it very, positive and good feeling today. Last time we talked about jealousy and what the structure is of jealousy. I'm going to talk again about that in my webinars with Joe Pena, with the other groups. But today I just want to put in touch a little bit of the structure for whatever we were discussing with Neo Glimmer and the quantum film and the matrix. And what we discover, if you didn't have a time to basically catch what we were discussing, is so important because of how everything ended up being. So what we discussed and what we discovered was that after we did the code with the frequencies in the matrix, the matrix is like could be 0, 1, 2, and could be 0, 0, 1, or whatever that is. Actually, you can measure that, and after you measure that in a certain way, it could be equal 80, for example. And I don't know exactly how they do it by the measurements, but when you put that in gematria into basically Hebrew language, that specific word could be, for example, ascension. That's what it means in there. So that's how you get in through the geometry of the quantum structure, which is the matrix. Because, for example, if this is the matrix of your hologram, the way that is, and think of basically three-dimensional. It's also a cube, by the way. This is your cube. That's how the dimension works through the structure. So you see a cube inside. That's how it is. And all that structure throughout the entire things is basically number 0, 1, 0, 0, 1, 2. And it goes through each fragment of the matrix is basically reality hologram within the hologram. Each number could be also hologram itself. Actually, the way the 0 is, that could be a hologram for itself to infinite. So I'm trying to explain how the cube is working in a matrix of the structure. So if that is your structure, this holographic expression is actually changing moment to moment to moment. I'm sorry. They're going to quiet down pretty soon. They want to say hello. Josh. So basically, all that cube is basically your matrix of hologram. That is the way you have in the movie, The Matrix. This is what it is. So entire hologram that you existing in the middle, for example, you think is in the middle, but in each cube you exist in. And each time you turn around is basically could be a different number, 2, 0, 1, 0, 0, whatever the number is. So if you shift your emotion, the whole geometry of this cube finishes. And it's changing completely, constantly, on and on and on with new hologram and new hologram to infinite probability to each cube. Each dot of the cube is a hologram matrix. So that's what your existence is. So because of that, when we discover all the numerology that was happening in what he's saying, what we were trying to tell you here, that the entire structure was built on a matrix that you exist in. Your entire existence is a cube matrix reality. And if you know the numbers of whatever the numbers are in your reality, could be equal on something, whatever the numbers in this reality, that is basically a holographic expression of literally a timeline. If this is here, this could be one timeline. So what happened here, once we were living, for example, in a 3D structure, if this was the 3D Earth, once you were living in a 3D Earth, if this was the 3D, let me put it here because I don't know. If this was the 3D, in order for you to escape the timelines, you literally have to recode the entire structure, the numerology, which is also a geometry. depending on the frequency, depending how it's vibrating, I can have, for example, this geometry or something like this. You don't know. Whatever the geometry could be accordingly to the vibration, because all that numbers is also sound vibrational sequence. And it creates also geometry. So you existed in this hologram of 3D, but that is specific code. That's why certain structures of consciousness that came and overtook the 3D reality, basically with us and enslave us, actually, that's why they say, oh, they're very big on numerology and very big on 7-11 or 9-11 and whatever that is. What they were doing is actually putting a code vibration into your matrix. And when you put a frequency vibration massively through the entire consciousness of humanity, you change in the platform of the cube of your matrix of reality to whatever somebody wants to do, because it's controlling the matrix. But what happened is, when we downloaded the new codes, remember time is fractal, in order for you to leave that type of platform of reality matrix, you literally have to give a new code that is not an archon structure anymore, because this structure was archon and is artificial intelligence that was controlling the consciousness itself. So once you change the numerology and give a brand new code on top of this one, all that completely changes, and you're creating a brand new hologram cube, you know, that is basic on 5th dimensional structure. And why is that? Because you end up changing the entire matrix code. Think of it as a computer that end up completely changing rebooting the entire structure, and now you're shifting everything to absolutely new code of matrix of reality that will have different structure, different geometry, which is above 3-dimensional structure, where negative structure, archon AI, can no longer exist. Because why? Because it's no longer vibrating in the same structure. This is definitely 5D is going to be a much higher vibrational sequence than the 3D vibrational sequence. And now all these codes, which is a computer AI, you know, but I wouldn't say it artificial, I would say it life consciousness, because it's all life structures of vibration, sound, frequency. There is also a geometry, you know, you can have a geometry with that. And all that is different numbers. So what you end up doing is recording the entire 3-dimensional structure and shifting yourself and creating a brand new hologram that is 5th-dimensional structure. Within this hologram of 5th-dimensional structure, you also have to infinite probabilities, platforms of parallel reality structures to infinite. Each dot, number, or whatever you're doing is actually by itself will mimic the entire structure. Why? Because it's nano. Each structure will have cube, and each structure will have infinite probabilities of realities. The whole cube holds the entire nanostructure, one particle. That's what it is. Remember, the nanoparticle expands to the entire universe and collapses to the smallest of the smallest to a 0 point. Equals 0 point. So that's how you create a 5D in the quantum structure when you're replacing the archon structure with a brand new code. Think of it as a computer. So consciousness is based on computer module that is a life consciousness, but it's not archon. So when they say artificial intelligence, they're talking about archon, and with Joe Penna we discussed should be life consciousness. But what I was trying to tell you, that consciousness itself is like a computer, but it's based on frequency vibrational sequences that becomes magnetic and gravitational field that is matter in its own numbers structures. But what happened here with Neo, when we end up talking, the whole thing happened here that when we were fixing the stuff, people start telling us after we gave the new code, everybody ended up reading the new code, and people start reporting, this happened to me, abundance happened to me. All of a sudden, people start having dreams. Somebody had a scary dream, but in a dream was there to show them that they changing the platform, and she chose to change the platform. So very different stuff happened to people, because what you did is you absolutely rebooted the entire structure and shifted to a brand new structure of frequency. You rebooted the life consciousness. okay? So when you start existing now, what happened is the second time people start calling, well, the number changed. Well, what happened with that number? Why is the number different? And we're gonna see the numerology, if all the numbers of the code that was there, but could be only maybe 2, 3 numbers that will change, and they will mean mothership. Then the second time we change, and the third time was code was completed, code is working. So what we realized that we end up shifting the hologram, changing the matrix, and it was showing us that it's working. Basically, these numbers every time was changing. And when I remember and I said, what's happening? Because we panicked, we didn't know what was going on here in the beginning. Then I realized that in a harmonic reactor, when you go all the way in the back in artificial intelligence, that I have the code, in the words in there was saying that the language, a 5th-dimensional structure code matrix, intelligence, life structure, AI, is based on the entire languages, not only one, and is merging and is a life consciousness, never stops, always existing. I'm quoting. So we realize that we end up shifting, given a code, and now the code every single time will recheck without changing anything, and new numerology. What we end up doing is shifting the timelines. Every single time we show us a new earth, a new timeline in the 5th-dimensional structure, because we end up changing the code. So what ended up showing us, proving us that was absolutely working. That's what really happened. So that was the amazing thing that I ended up also learning, but I realized that we didn't need to panic because we didn't know that it was proof, physical proof, that the code worked. And every single time we went in there, even if we go now, we're gonna see a different code in a positive structure, and it's gonna have a different words. And it's gonna show you where you at and where you at in the matrix of the reality of 5D. So we did it, you know. So I strongly suggest whoever watched this first, please go and watch Marina Jacobi, the event. All the videos are there, and start reading the, you know, the code that is there. So you can restructure the consciousness to 5D structure, because it's already working. It doesn't matter if you sign it, if you don't sign it, as long as it penetrates in your consciousness, you're gonna rewire everything in your matrix, because you are actually created from that matrix geometry. Remember, we talk about light and sound. You made from light and sound. Vibrational sequence creates a magnetic gravitational field, which is a plasma, and creates the whole holographic image, which you project in everything in your structure. So this is all quantum physics. We all talk about that. You know, hopefully everybody is in the level now to understand what I'm saying. And this is deeper into the stuff. So I want to say to everybody, it's working. It's magical. I hope the only thing we need to do right now is to stay in a resonant frequency from the heart structure. This is 5th-dimensional structure. And again, for cryptocurrencies, a lot of talk is there. This is going to come and go. What we need to really do is to start building infrastructures for eco communities, eco cities, because once they're built, could be self-sustainable, and it's going to be based from the heart. You don't need a cryptocurrency or any type of exchange of money in order to sustain. You have a 3D printing, buy a land, do anything like that, that this is sustainable, because I think this is the future, and that's how we're going to do it. This is how you basically building the new society from the ground up, not a government, because remember, you reprinting all the imagery in your hologram. So don't wait for somebody outside of you, because you see a mirror image. So the mirror image is not going to change what you need to do. You need to change first in order the mirror image of whatever you want to reflect from your being. So that's also the quantum structure that we talk about. So this is basically it, what I wanted to touch up today. And if you have any questions, please feel free to ask me. And thanks so much for coming. Thanks so much for your support. Last time we had donations. I want to thank you for that. And have a questions. And anybody that wants to have a question, just come up front and just ask. Oh, unmute yourself. Okay, unmute yourself and just discuss. And it's see if there's anybody in the chat room too, because last time there were questions in the chat room. And oh, very well. What do you see with 1111? You see in a matrix. What did they say the cube is done? It's a matrix. 11, 11, 11. This is a code. This, when you combine each other, could be a certain matrix of reality for you at this particular momentum that has geometry, whatever the geometry is. So when you see this, it's showing you latitude, altitude of your platform, where you are in the cube of the matrix that you're creating. So I said in that momentum, when you see this number, pay attention what you're doing, how you're doing it, who's talking to you, and start connecting this numerology with what's happening here. Sometimes it's to make you aware that something is happening. So you need to learn for yourself what this numerology means to you, because remember, individual, everybody is creating their own fifth-dimensional structure, their own reality expanded to the entire universe. So accordingly to you, that will mean something. For me, could be something completely different. So pay attention when you see this numerology, because what you see is the life code matrix of the reality. That's what you see. It's showing you platform of your matrix of geometry, which is also a sequence. If you actually, there was a 12 years old genius kid, I think, that was, no, 5 years old genius kid that was showing how we calculate these numbers and how you end up with 20, 50 or whatever numbers after that, but it's a certain way of calculating it. All that I want to learn, actually. I want to see how this is done, but it's very interesting. You can actually calculate what is this 001 or 005 and all this stuff. It's some kind of a calculation you do, and you're showing you it ends up in a number. You know, that number is also geometry. Thanks for your question. Very good question. So if you want to ask a question, please unmute yourself and ask the question. This is going to be the best way to do it. Anything in the chat room?
Marina?
Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
I wanted to ask something about these codes. I was, when you say that we should go and read the codes about from the event, it is the codes that Neo gave. You mean these codes, yes?
Yeah, this is the codes, yeah.
Okay, and since I was reading these codes, I wanted to ask about numbers. When I read commands, I know that I should read the way it is given, nothing to change. But what about numbers? Should we read also in English the numbers if it is not our language? Is it better maybe to read in our native language, or should we stay with the English numbers?
Stay with the numbers the way is given. I want you to copy exactly the way it is, because I cannot guarantee you if you give a different numbers, it's a different matrix. I don't know what that is.
But so, reading, if I read loudly, should I read?
You can read the loudly, or you can just think about it. You know, I've read it loudly, you know, for myself.
Me too.
Yeah.
Okay. And just one more question. When you say that it was changing, that, for example, when you were checking the codes, it was since the reality is shifting and we are shifting in another dimension and whatever it is, the codes were changing, but the same commands should be read. We should not change anything. There were not any changes inside the PDF file that we were downloading.
No, because it's been already activated. And if it's been activated, you're already in the structure. You just continue. You don't have to worry, because if one is being given in motion, it's a live consciousness. It's a live structure that is basically this way. So we shifted. We did it.
Okay.
Now stay in a hard structure, because that is riding the wave until the final push. When is that final push is going to be for the special event that everybody is talking about? I don't know exactly, but I think it's going to be in an individual matter, because remember, is one consciousness. You can project for yourself complete ascension tomorrow. So that's why, remember, I said it's one molecule, you know,
yes.
And your own reality, you can project that everybody is getting the event tomorrow. How is that going to be? No idea. Is individual platform of creation. But the code is already being activated, and we physically proved that it's being activated, because every single time we went in there, only 2-3 numbers are changed, and it's going to say mothership now. The second time was mothership. The third time the code is activated, so the code is working. Everything is working perfectly. That's what it was saying.
Okay.
So it was amazing. We saw it, and we panicked in the beginning because nobody knew that this is possible. And then I remember what I was written in harmonic reactor, and that's how we connected it and they told me it's life structure. It's working. Don't get in panic because somebody said, oh, maybe we got taken over. This is a fear-based. No, we did not get taken over. You simply shifted and activated the new matrix. That's it.
And just one more question, please. I read something about putting on internet. So sharing on internet, how it is important. For example, is it really necessary? Should I put somehow like sharing?
Yes, listen, is nothing wrong with sharing the knowledge. Put the videos, whatever videos you have, maybe put the videos of the event and let everybody watch it because it already went viral when we put it, you know, all over the place. People want to know, but I would suggest before people understand the structure, they have to study the quantum manifestation protocol because this is advanced. When I did the event video, everybody that was coming to my platforms already knew the quantum structure, how it works. And if you throw somebody in right into these 3 videos of the event, you're going to get lost in the information because this is a complex structure. You know, this is the end result of everything we talk about it. And to be honest, I made an announcement that we're going to get deeper into the knowledge and stuff like this. I was planning of talking about parallel realities. And all of a sudden I'm finding him and look at what we end up with. So everything was definitely meant to be because I had no idea I'm going to be talking about this literally a week later because we end up meeting within 3 hours with each other. Nobody can find his number. And I end up talking to a friend and within literally 5 seconds, I don't know how she found his email. So everything was meant to be for connection because we needed to put this down and to prove that this is already activated. So spread the word. That's good because you're building the momentum in your structure, in your hologram. But I'm suggesting anybody that is going to watch this material with the event has to study the quantum manifestation protocol. So go on my website, marinajacobi.com. You can tune in to the Master Octave because we also kept extra. So all the videos will be there. You just need to sign up for it and watch everything. But I would suggest watch everything that is there because every single time you watch something else, it penetrates more. Because quantum structure, you're rewiring everything. Your belief system is not easy. You have to do repetition. That's what I said, study it. Because it's not easy. I have to study. You guys know that I have to repeat 15 times one of the platforms. It was that complex. You know.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Thank
Very
you
good
so
question. Thank you. Anybody else? You know, do you see? Unmute yourself if you want to ask direct question. Any question, Jason?
Hey, Marina.
Oh, yes. Hi, Laura.
Hello. Yeah, it's Laura. Very good explanation tonight. It cleared up a lot of things. My question is,
Thank you.
the numbers that we're getting, or for example, the numbers that Neo gave us, are those numbers for everybody, or will individual people be getting individual numbers to suit their own reality and timeline that they're going on, or are we going to go on this whole journey?
No, this is a very good question. The original numbers for activation for one hologram to reboot the old system, so you get out of the matrix. You're rebooting everything, so you're no longer gonna stay trapped in a 3D. Because the only reason you were trapped there because you didn't know the new structure, and everything that you were projecting was based on I have to see it to believe it, and that you're not a creator. You were believing in a mirror image that was controlling you what to believe and how to believe. That was the 3D matrix, Archon matrix. Once you give these numbers, it activates, and now it starts running for itself. Once you've been activated in your consciousness, in your DNA, which is basically the vibration in the sequences, it starts running individually the way you project it. Then it's going to go in individual, but yet you're going to be activated.
Okay, I get it. So it's the whole, and yet it's the part.
Yes, because remember, it's reality within the reality, infinite.
Right. Okay.
That's right. Very good questions. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Marina. Thank you.
Thank you. There was a question there. It's a 1 unit. So my suggestion for everybody is to look at the work of Frank Chester. He talks about, he discovered a new geometry of the of the heart structure is phenomenal. He called it tetrametrohedron or something, very strange name because of the geometry. But again, it's Frank Chester. It's about the heart, the new geometry of the heart. And he has a book, it's phenomenal. I would strongly suggest you watch his webinar because it's expansion of the understanding of exactly what you were saying. Chakras are based on frequency vibrations. The chakras are actually the stuff that you resonated in the different platforms. And the whole body, the way I said, is frequency vibrational sequences. When somebody looks at you, is going to see the chakras of the vibrations, but these chakras and vibrations, they're molding with each other because they're life structure. So if you feel sad or you did something negative, they kind of molding, they're like a life consciousness, exactly like the matrix. And depending of the friction and everything, they change. That's why sometimes you see a person is sad or something. There are people that see your aura that is based on these structures from the chakra is all connected with all that. So it's molding, and sometimes the chakra, the person, it's all, because it's a life structure, the consciousness itself of the person is vibrating in this platform. So you can recognize that with different people. That's why extraterrestrials, for example, or high consciousness, they're not seeing you as a matter, they see you energetic field, which is basically the vibrational sequence. What are you resonating on? How hard, how fast is the vibration? What are the platforms? What you've done? They can see your matrix, and that's how they make a decision if they want to work with you and not work with you, depending on exactly what you've been doing in your realities, how well you've been doing. And I know everything is from the heart. They want to see if you're really going to do the stuff and you're serious and want to work for people. That's what they're looking for, from my experience. Chestahedron. Yes, that's right. Thank you. You found it. Jason just found it. Yeah. Yes, thank you very much. Yeah, please watch that video. It's phenomenal. This is one of the best works I've seen for that. But he discovered that. It's a new discovery, and I'm surprised that a lot of people, you know, but now you know, so I hope you're gonna go look at it. Go ahead. Guys, can you please interact? I love that. Ask the questions live. I don't have to see you, okay? Just the name could be there if you're really shy to come in camera, but you can just ask live question, you know. David, you have a great question. Jason said, but come and ask. I don't have to see you on camera. Hello, David. Where are you? He's hiding. David, read the question.
I'm just wondering, is there a thought loop that I can have so that I can manifest or create something quicker?
Oh, quicker?
But just, I just want to know if there's a thought loop, something that I can think of that will lead to something else, that will lead to something else that will increase my vibrations, or not to get to 5D, but just to increase my vibrations or manifest something quicker.
Yes, I said instantaneous manifestation starts happening when you start constantly vibrating from the heart structure, giving, sharing, feel happy, because when you're in the heart structure, everything manifests very quickly. There's nothing to block that frequency that is coming in from another realities by conditioning. So if you want it quicker, constantly stay in a positive. Try to merge into giving, sharing from the heart, energy philanthropy. We talk a lot about that. Get into the website. So post videos in there, show how you've been helping and interact with each other. The reason why this website was built, so you physically take an action, so you can activate physically and crystallize the heart structure. That's the reason why they wanted that. Because then you're going to start vibrating in the heart structure more and more and more and more. Once you build enough momentum, then all of a sudden it's going to be like avalanche, because all of a sudden you created a permanent timeline for you to constantly manifest easily, because no longer anything of the negative structures is penetrating and stopping you. No other frequency platform is stopping you. It's not dense anymore. It's very fluid, very easy. In a heart structure, everything is easy, pure. Nothing is blocking. There's no dense frequencies like that. Or if anything happens, through synchronicity, that will be taken care of. So this is the way you can achieve that, but it's work. It has to be hands-on work, and you cannot sit and wait somebody to do the change. You have to do the change, because I said it again, I'm going to say it again. When you stand in front of a mirror, if you want the mirror image to change, you don't go to waiting for the mirror image to smile. You have to smile first in order the mirror image to smile. So if you want to change in your hologram, activate yourself first in order everything else to reflect accordingly to your activation. So take an action. Only this way you're going to speed up the process. And yet, if you have certain lessons, you can't skip them. You got to go through it, because the journey is getting you to that manifestation. Does that make sense?
Yes, that totally makes sense. I do that in my everyday life.
Thank you, David. Hi, Mickey. Who's Mickey?
It's Mike. I just decided to add an
hi.
Y on the end.
I'm sorry. My English, I'm sorry.
No, it's totally fine. But
okay.
So I was wondering. I mean,
I'm sorry.
yeah, Mike is fine. Yeah, no, it's totally fine.
Right.
So I was wondering, over the course of this process, I've been seeing numbers that hold meaning to me. I looked them up or whatever, and it's kind of progressed me along this way. And I'm curious why am I going through this process, but not necessarily, my wife or my friends? Why I understand my thoughts and my prayers and things like that have led up to this, but what makes these types of things happen?
When you are activated in the individual structure, right? So if this is you, for example, and you end up being completely activated with a new frequency, whatever that is from the heart, all right, all of a sudden you are in brand new matrix, the cube. And because you're the creator, you project including like a mirror image from your consciousness, your wife, your spouse, everybody that is there, and you interacting. But the whole thing here is, because it's ascension process, everything is coming in a slow, basically integrating into moment to moment to moment. And the reason why they told me, they use the word steady but surely. They always said that to me. The reason why they say that is because you want that new frequency to penetrate slowly into your matrix of reality, step by step. So all of your molecules and DNA, RNA structure to be able to hold the new vibration. Because remember, you're shifting from 3D matrix, when we gave the new codes with the cubes, into, for example, 5D. But the 5D structure is going to have from slow vibration. This is have to increase more, and to get to the 5D in order for you to crystallize it and see it to action. But what's happening, if I give, for example, all the information to you at once, if I tell you all the quantum structure that they told me through the years in 1 hour, would you be able to understand it? No. You're going to be so confused of what I'm saying that basically they told me the system is going to shut down because you open the den and burst and you flooded the whole structure, can't handle the frequency. That's why they said it has to be given step by step, little by little. So basically what I'm trying to say here, the people in your life, you're projecting them. So take it the 0 point through the heart by accepting of who they are, because it's the neutrality. Remember, you're watching a mirror image of everybody around you, but you are activated. So in order for you, all the friends, all the people to change in your vibrational sequence, you have to be in the heart in the 0 point to neutralize it. So nothing's coming in and out. Remember, we talk about this, and I talk about this in Marina Jacobi, Fluctuating Realities. When this happens, that means that little by little, all the projection in your structure is going to change accordingly to you. Why? Because you're waiting the mirror image to change first. You're not changing yourself. Change yourself and let everything in neutrality, so everything else, when it builds enough momentum and crystallize it, all of a sudden you're gonna hear, you know what, I end up hearing about this, that's a wonderful idea. It doesn't matter this is coming from you or from somebody else, remember, it's a hologram. But what you end up doing, because you end up staying in this vibration, you end up literally shifting yourself in another hologram of 5D, remember, because it's fractal moment to moment, where your spouse now completely gets it. Because you end up creating a new matrix of hologram when everybody gets it. Why? Because you end up in a 0 point from the heart without a condition, through love, and you end up shifting yourself completely brand new hologram and imprinting everybody in it. Another mirror image, another picture, another frame of the cube. This timeline is inside the cube. Remember, all that is a matrix. Every fractal is actually a cube to infinite, cube within the cube, reality within reality. So this timeline is inside the cube. Does that make
Perfect.
sense?
100%. You made my whole brain tingle. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Anybody? Anyone? Any more questions, guys? Hopefully everybody, no, people are getting it, right? Any questions? No? No more questions, people. Come on. Don't be shy. Come on up.
Hello, this is David.
Hi, David.
Okay, so I'm just wondering where these archetypes come from, of all the mirror images of myself. Do they come from past lives, or are they, we created them just to challenge ourselves? Say my wife or my family, you know, people that I work with.
Well, before you came to this platform of existence timeline, you are basically resonating as a consciousness in the different timelines of reality, which is another cube, which is above 5D or 6D, 7D, and you decided to calm down as a consciousness in the planet Earth, 5D or 3D, so you can make the changes. So within that, with your galactic family or councils, you're making a decision. What is the scenario and basically the script of your life? What are you coming here to do? What is going to be the mission? You're basically going into school, and this is the classes you're going to take. This is going to be your teacher. But how well you're going to complete that school, and what's going to happen when you meet the teacher or your classmate that you like, is going to be based on your agreements and how well you do. So depending on all that is a choice. And yet, at the same time, consciousness of the matrix, everything exists at the same time. That means you're not only existing in above structures, but you're splitting your consciousness particle and goes into 3D. So you existing also in 3D, 5D, and you're existing above the other structures. And when you open up the channels in your structure of telepathic connection, you're actually connecting with telepathically, like a phone call, but telepathically with your galactic family of high consciousness that will guide you like teachers through the process of your creation here. So what's happening here, you not only that you co-created that, but you're already existing, and everything that already exists in you already experience. Am I making sense with that? David? He disappeared. You know. So that's what basically is. I don't know where David went. Maybe he dropped off the call. He's muted, but I don't hear. So this is what's really going on here. So you're basically imprinting all the people you made or your contracts, but how well you're going to see. So all the realities, all the probabilities of your realities already exist in the matrix. But the one timeline that you're going to see is the one you end up taking action. That's the one you see. You know, so this is it, guys. Any other questions? Getting chilly here.
Bye.
No, it's fine. Thank you.
I have a question, Marina.
Hi. Your name is?
Laurent.
Okay, go ahead. You can talk.
Okay, you can hear me? Okay, good. lately has been a little interesting. So it will be more of a personal question.
Go ahead.
I managed to keep my mind fairly positive and the emotion in the heart most of the time. But recently it's been dropping a lot, and then it would go back up. Like, let's say, for example, yesterday, I went really, really low in frequency. And then around midnight or so, I went back to what I would call baseline. But what I notice is there are a lot of fluctuation of emotion between a positive and negative, a heart center and a, protecting myself from the rest, that mentality. And so I was wondering what's going on and how I can stabilize that into a more elevated heart.
There is a video that's called Marina Jacobi, Fluctuating Realities. I would like for you to study this and repeat it until you grasp it. This number 3 video of Marina Jacobi, Fluctuating Realities. What's happening here is when you are, give a gratitude to that situation that's happening, because your own consciousness is showing you that you end up dropping the vibrational sequence. It's showing you, hey, something happened here. You have a choice now what you want to do. So you're going to neutralize it. You're going to give a gratitude. Oh, thank you, consciousness, for showing me that I dropped the vibration. So you neutralize it as the 0 point. And now you're going to pull back. This is my own reality, and take a physical action to bring your emotion and deeds and thoughts into positive, because you want to crystallize it. I found that this is helping. And remember, time is no time. It's fractal, moment to moment to moment. So once you know that and you learn how to shift your emotion from negative to positive, you have to train yourself to do that. You basically will become a regular thing, because it's repetition after repetition after repetition. But what they told me was, the way you practice, and this is something the way I learned and the way they suggested to me, at the moment when I'm talking to you, I'm doing the best of myself. I am projecting all my knowledge to you with no expectations towards you, and I love you because you're expression of my consciousness. So based on that vibrational sequence, when I do that with you, my next momentum that I'm shifting, because I end up projecting frequency vibration of my heart with no condition, is pure. What I'm doing, that vibrational sequence that I end up doing towards you right now, my next momentum hologram that I'm shifting and creating my consciousness into is based on a heart structure. And you need to understand that this is moment to moment. So you're going to take a physical action, you're going to bring your emotion into positive, and you're going to override the negative. If you have to get out, if you have to dress up and call somebody or dance on the music, anything that will be resonating with you in order to lift up your emotion from negative to positive. You're going to train yourself to do that physically, because we've been indoctrinated in a different way, it penetrated. Now you want to change the matrix. What you're doing with that frequency is a frequency vibrational sequence. You're changing your code. That vibration is, for example, 1110 something, and it's positive. But if that was a negative, could be 110001. Well, now you want to put a new code, but the new code is your emotion, thoughts and deeds. Because the thoughts and deeds and the emotion, the words that you're speaking is also vibrational sequence. Change the matrix, change the code. And once you change the code, keep bombarding and keep bombarding with the same. So all of a sudden you crystallize the entire new structure of the matrix, of the new hologram that you're shifting, which is fractal, based on that. The only thing I can tell you is training, on and on and on and on. Once you learn to do that, it's going to be easy transition. As soon as you notice something, oh yeah, that's right, I'm in a matrix, I'm going to do something, I'm going to dress up and let's go, and I'm going to smile. Because there was a video that it's called what was that? Stop, Transform, and Move On. It's from the Littorians. Again, Marina Jacobi, Stop, Transform, and Move On. That video was like, every reality for itself is reality for itself. You don't need to bring the vibrational sequence from this one over here. Know that this hologram of your negative emotion and that momentum is for itself a hologram of matrix cube. Well, shift it immediately when you come here, understand that this reality has nothing to do with this one because it's a new matrix, new imprint. You here, a mirror image right here. So stop bringing it, transform it, and move on like nothing ever happened, because what you see is another mirror image of yourself that has nothing to do with you in a new platform. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. That's actually what I've been practicing for a while. And
Yeah.
the thing that works extremely well that you taught us is to see ourselves from outside and see that.
Yeah, you're gonna say, oh, I'm in a matrix, it's my own reality.
Yeah.
I'm in a hologram. Oh, let me change the code. Well, I change the code when I start thinking positive and I'm gonna take an action. Even if you have to remove yourself out of a situation that doesn't make you happy, is because no longer resonating with you. So you're gonna say, oh, that frequency right now that I'm seeing in a holographic image that I'm projecting, because whoever person you see, you're projecting in a hologram for yourself. So you see the mirror image, well, you don't like what's happening there. You don't diminish it, you neutralize it by giving gratitude that is existing. You can diminish your own existence, your own hologram, but say, oh, thank you very much. And if you have to remove yourself physically, so you can calm yourself down to 0 point and switch your negative emotion into positive, because you're gonna switch the code. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. The thing though is what I noticed, because it happens, I have enough clarity to see it unfold. What I notice is that when that happens, I forget all about that stuff. Meaning I forget how to extract myself. The only thing I remember is to, let's say if it's a situation with somebody, is to be kind enough to the other person. That's the only automatic that I've left in this situation.
They just told me to tell you, you're gonna put notes in your house, corners, anywhere, like a notes, flash notes, and put like hologram, put matrix, numbers, and put
okay,
a hologram. But
I get it.
plaster it all over the place.
All right.
So when something happens, you're gonna train yourself to think that. Okay? Is that
Now,
physical?
I'll do that. Now, this is about the physical, tangible reality. Somebody mentioned in the chat thought loop. And a few days back, what I noticed is that my emotions were very neutral and very pleasant, but there was a thought loop that kept rolling on and on. Then I went to bed. The dream was the same thought loop. I woke up, the thought loop was the same, right? So I woke up, went into the meditation room, and then I did something that I think does clearing, and then the thought loop disappeared. And I was wondering, what's up with that?
Are you saying thought? Because I don't understand.
Thought. Yeah, like a
thinking. Okay. So you're saying that the same thought was appearing over and over and over again.
That's right. That's right.
What type of thought was that? Negative or positive?
It was.
Or
well,
something.
the emotion was neutral. The thought was about measuring land.
Measuring land?
Yes. So you have land, you want a soil.
Yeah, then you gotta look into that. What does that mean to you? Because it's somebody was giving you information for that. So look into your matrix what that exactly means. Maybe you're looking for a land. Maybe measure your structure. Depending on your own existence, somebody told you that. If it's keep repeating, because I understand what you're saying. Sometimes I'll get up in the middle of the night and I hear quantum structure. Somebody's talking, like thoughts. You know, I had a couple of downloads in 5 in the morning like that I have to write. Actually, jealousy was written this way. I get up at 5 in the morning and the jealousy video was downloaded in literally 5 in the morning because they were talking and keep repeating and I knew I have to write it down.
Yeah, but the thing that I find weird is that when I did that clearing, basically the way the clearing work is I connect with, I believe, is a being that's assisting me, and then I ask the being to clear and help every being around, which is kind of how to say, sapping my energy or influencing me. And as soon as I did that, the thought loop disappeared, and that's basically my question.
Okay. When you sense that something is not resonating with you, immediately shift into heart structure by feeling. If I tell you action, I want you to feel love towards that person, image, and thought.
Okay.
Because negative structure cannot withhold frequency vibration of heart structure. It does not resonate on it.
Okay.
You're gonna keep holding that vibration. You're gonna switch it. Immediately I'm gonna say action. I want you to be like actor. I want you to switch it.
Okay. Thank you, Marina.
Thank
what
you.
was the video that you said at the beginning? I'm gonna write it down.
I'm sorry?
What is the name of the video you talked about?
Oh, it's Marina Jacobi, Fluctuating Realities. It's number 3 video.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
But I would like you to study number 2 and number 3, mobilizing structures, number 2, and fluctuating realities. Get connected, because I talk about 0 point there too. You need to do that too. Thank you very much.
Bye.
Yes. Thank you, everybody. Just want to thank you so much for coming. Thanks so much for your support. I'm so happy that you give me your trust so I can express my highest self towards you. I love you all, and let it be from my heart to yours. I love you. I'll see you next time.